Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be updating my patch 13.1b tier list, top lane tier list, so let's get into it. To begin with, I'm going to move Cassidy down. Cassidy received direct nerfs this patch, and overall his position in the S tier, in the top lane at least, probably doesn't stay. So I'm going to preemptively move him down to A. They were fairly minor nerfs. They do impact him heavily if there's not a lot of spellcasters on the enemy team, but overall, because of the way Cassidy's E works, reducing by 1 second every time someone casts a spell, and then he will build CDR and stuff like this, losing 4 seconds at max rank on E is painful, but it's not the end of the world for Cassidy, and he's still going to be incredibly strong. There's a chance that he's hovering AB, but I'm going to leave him in the A tier for now. The next one I want to talk about is Mundo. Mundo is nowhere near as strong as he used to be. The nerfs towards his E, losing about 0.5% maximum health into conversion into AD, actually hurt him quite a bit. He is very counterpick reliant now, so you have to be able to put him into good matchups. Things like Darius, he does quite well into. And if you're not in those good matchups, he can really struggle. So Mundo, I'm actually going to move down to a C tier because he's struggling. If he's negative win rate in lower elo, he's not performing particularly well, as that's where he should have a positive win rate and should be thriving at like a 51-52 kind of thing. Akali, I'm going to move down to the D tier. Akali is not finding any footing in the top lane at the moment. She's actually really struggling. Her best build is the Night Harvester build, and even that struggling to hold another 50% win rate. There are places where you can play her in the top lane. She does do a good job at assassinating a lot of champs at level 6. That is her big spike early on into the game. And then, of course, you have a good mid game with your Shadow Flame and tools like this. But overall, not finding a great footing in the top lane, so I'm going to move her down. Aatrox, I'm actually going to move down to a D tier. This is a preemptive change with the fighter item adjustments. Death Stance being not as snowbally of an item as it used to be, losing ability haste on that item as well, combined with Gore Drinker and Eclipse both being nerfed towards what Aatrox wants to do. Aatrox is going to take a big hit with the fighter adjustments. Ravenous is also being nerfed, so if you opted into the Ravenous first Aatrox, that's also going to be really bad, as it's now lifesteal instead of Omnivamp, and Aatrox is really reliant on that stat being Omnivamp, so he heals off his Qs rather than his autos. So Aatrox down into the D tier. There's a chance he's E tier. He could be one of the worst champs in the top lane next patch. We'll have to see how it plays out. But for the most part, I'm going to move him down, as he's probably not going to perform anywhere near as well as he should do. Rengar, I believe, is going to be overpowered this patch. The crit adjustments should massively help Rengar with the Essence Reaver into IE power spike he can now obtain. Stuff like this, combined with Eclipse being, having haste on it, is quite nice for Rengar as well. He can go Lucidities alongside that. Rengar just has a lot of power and lots of things going well for him this patch. So, Essence Reaver also being buffed, really big for Rengar. So, Rengar probably the strongest top laner on this patch, alongside Zac and Olaf. Zac, of course, gonna take a hit from Demonic's nerfs, but shouldn't be a big enough of a nerf to move him out of the S tier position. The next champ I wanted to talk about is GP. GP is going to be at the top of the A tier. I'm skeptical of moving him into the S tier, but Essence Reaver, I think I will move him into the S tier actually. Essence Reaver being buffed, combined with the crit items being more generous with when they come online, 40% instead of 60%, Navori being able to be brought second, so Essence into Navori, makes GP incredibly strong. He got some preemptive nerfs, but I reckon he will still be strong, and the loss of the AD groove doesn't actually count for as much when he's gaining 10 more AD of Essence Reaver. So GP, going to be really strong in this patch, definitely worth playing. Heimerdinger. This one is a big question mark at the moment. There is a chance Heimerdinger jumps up into the A tier. He's getting buffs towards his AP ratios, but losing a lot of flat damage can hurt him quite badly. So I'm going to put him near the top of the B tier, because once he gets a bit of AP, once he gets his first item, the damage and the health on the turret should come back to what they originally were, and then past that, it's a buff. But if he's as early reliant as he sometimes is, with the turret positioning, and his turrets now have certain thresholds where they can be broken easier, Heimerdinger might fall down, but I reckon he'll be fringe B into A tier. Urgot is getting a buff with the cleaver changes. I'm not going to put Urgot into the A tier. I'm just going to move him up in the B tier. But Prowler's Claw into Black Cleaver will be Urgot's strongest build. There is a chance that you can go Eclipse, but Prowler's Claw gives him mobility and a lot of sticking potential, which is something he really needs. So why Stride Breaker used to be so good on Urgot. So if Warden's Mail wasn't as strong of a counter item into Urgot as it is, Urgot would definitely be an A tier, possible S tier option. But because Warden's Mail is so strong to him, make sure you be Warden's Mail whenever you're into an Urgot, because it reflects, it mitigates damage of every single W proc. I'm gonna leave him in the B tier. Garen has a chance of being really strong with Mortal Reminder into IE being an option. There is also a chance that he is weaker with Mortal Reminder losing its movement speed combined with Mortal Reminder losing its attack speed and being replaced with Armor Pen. There's a chance that he comes out weaker and he can't stack up Phantom Dancer using his E. You'd have to auto stack it and then use it with the E. So there is a chance Garen's weaker, but there is also a chance Garen could come out better if there is an IE variation of Garen, which allows him to do more damage. But I'm going to leave him where he is, because we'll have to see as game sample sizes ramp up. Riven is actually going to move down. I reckon Riven's going to really struggle this patch. Ability Haste being swapped out for health on Gore Drinker isn't great for Riven. Riven wants a lot of Ability Haste so she can cast her abilities more often. Ravenous being turned to Lifesteal means she's not healing on those Qs. That's also a big nerf towards Riven. Death Stance losing its heal, as much of its heal as it used to have. 120 bonus AD going down to 50% bonus AD. It's also going to hurt Riven. More being changed to Lifesteal. These are all negatively going to impact Riven, and there's a chance he falls into the C tier. There are Riven players who are really good at the champion, and they can make the champion work, but for the average player, and for around Plat Plus area, Riven is definitely going to be weaker than she was. Jax is actually going to move up into the S tier. Jax is really strong at the moment. A lot of his power was kind of hidden in not understanding which builds he can go. And now that people understand, his power's like coming through. Plus, he's gonna get some updates towards his effects and his visuals, which make it clearer to play when playing Jax on what's happening. Because right now he's really clunky and it feels kind of bad to play the champ. But Jax is really, really strong. You can go stuff like Zhonya's, Spirit of Shojin, lots of fighter items. You can dip into the AP items sometimes. I wouldn't recommend going like Riftmaker and full AP. It's not great. But you can dip into those items if you want to. He does have a lot of strong options. Jax is very good at the moment. Tryndamere is going to move up with the fighter, with crit items being adjusted the way they are. Tryndamere is definitely going to benefit from this. He can go things like Gale Force into IE. He can go he'll go Ravenous, Gale Force, IE. He can go IE earlier on. It's just a lot of positive changes towards Tryndamere. Overall, it will help him. So definitely going to move him up. Lydia getting a lot of AP ratio buffs towards her passive. Her E is getting a cooldown reduction from 16 to 14. And her Q is gaining 5% AP on both the inner and outer bits. So Lydia is going to definitely benefit from these changes. I'm not going to put her in the B tier yet. I'm going to move her up to the C tier. There's a chance that this doesn't do enough in the top lane. It's only AP ratio buff, so she'll have to get items for it, like, to be actually able to fill these. But over time, this will definitely feel more impactful. You'll do more damage later on into the game. You'll scale a lot harder. And Lydia was always really good at scaling as a fighter, burn, damage champion. So Lydia going to move up to the C tier for the moment. Another two champs I want to talk about are Teemo and Malzahar. I'm not going to adjust them from where they are at the moment in the C tier, but there is a chance these two champs do a lot better, with Demonics being buffed for ranged champions. Liandry's into Demonics will work quite nicely with these. It's now a good option. Morello's also being having pen instead of health on it. It's quite nice for these champs as well, as you're not valuing the health as much, as you're not playing frontline battle magey. You're not playing as like Swain kind of, or like how Swain wants to play. So it will definitely benefit these champs more. It's not going to feed into Demonics, which will hurt the item obviously, but the flat pen is quite nice, and if there's a lot of healing on the enemy team, it's also quite a good buy. So there's a chance that these two champs move up. I'm going to leave them into the C tier for the moment, though. Quinn is going to move up. Quinn should benefit from the crit changes. There's a chance that she can go things like Storm Razor into IE, or you'd go Eclipse, or you can go Eclipse or Prowler's Claw into Storm Razor IE as like a trio of items. Lots of damage within that, lots of chase, lots of stick, just really powerful in general for Quinn. So we'll have to see how her builds go, but I'm going to move up into the A tier because I reckon she will be positively affected by these changes. Udyr is actually going to move up. I had him in the B tier because people weren't itemizing him correctly beforehand. Now people have actually caught onto the Demonic's Radiant Virtue duo. I'm going to move him up, even though he's being nerfed twice because Demonix is losing 0.2 burn on it and Udyr is losing 5 tick on his R. He's actually probably going to go up into the A tier. Next champion I wanted to talk about is Karma. I'm actually going to move Karma all the way up to the A tier. Karma was being played incorrectly for a while. People have actually caught onto the Radiant into Grievous, or Radiant into will probably be Redemption now. It's actually a really strong duo. The highest elo top laner at the moment is playing Karma, Radiant into Redemption or Radiant into Grievous, and has a lot of success with it, as they are the highest elo top laner. What does it say about top lane? Well, I mean, this could spell a lot of things. Top lane might not have as much impact as people want, and Karma being the strongest top laner isn't great for the role, but we'll have to see if someone else takes over that position. Someone like Drew, who is also quite high elo, playing things like Akshan and Zeri top, of course, because ranged top laners. But we'll have to see. So overall, those are my thoughts on the updated patch 13.1b tier list. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts, and if you enjoy my content, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.